Unknown History of the World, Lukáš Kulak. Welcome our visitors. Today is our first interview in English, and my special guest is Dane Hilman Natawijaja. Dane, welcome.
Hi,
Um,
to
today we are
Kulak.
today we are going to speak of a fantastic topic because um, the main topic is the Gunung Padang, the mystery of the Indonesia, the mystery of very ancient world. But first of all, I would like to introduce Danny because he is not just a storyteller, a YouTuber, but a serious geologist, expert in earthquakes, geology, and geotectonics. You graduated from Indonesian Institute of Sciences, also Caltech in California. Can you, first of all, can you speak a bit about your scientific work and scientific career?
Yeah. My background is in the geology. I got master of geology in Auckland University and got my PhD at Caltech. I specialize in quaternary geology, especially earthquake study, seismic hazard, and like for the last decades, I've been interested in pursuing the geoarchaeology, which is application of geology and geophysics to archaeology to with a site, something like that. I work with the National Research and Innovation Agency, the Indonesian Government Research Institute, and also a member of Indonesian Academy of Science. Uh, yeah,
And as I know, you are one of the most reputable geologists in Indonesia.
yeah. Especially I starting the earthquake study in Indonesia. That's a long time ago. I said like 3 decades ago. So I starting study the active fault that produce earthquake in Indonesia and also tsunami. I start studying earthquake and tsunami when the large like giant tsunami event in 2004 in Aceh. That's where I just finished my PhD study in US and come back to Indonesia. So and my dissertation, my PhD dissertation is about the earthquake and tsunami in Sumatra. So I developed the earthquake study in Indonesia from from like the beginning of the science. It's very exciting also.
Mhm.
And I think I also exciting about this geoarchaeology because I think also the geoarchaeology has not been developed in Indonesia. There's not many geology or geophysical scientists that's interested in apply their concept, their technology to study the archaeology. But I think it's very important because it be very useful. Like we apply it in Gunung Padang.
Yes, I fully agree with you because I think that when you look at archaeology, uh,
Mm,
I think it's not I think because
mm,
I know personally few archaeologists, and what can I say is that they are not they are um, people who are trained uh, who are not trained in engineer in geology, and I
yeah.
believe this is
Mm,
quite important to
yeah.
have a bigger perspective, I would say, because our ancestors, when you look at great buildings built
Mm,
thousands of years ago, they are uh, very well built. They are very sophisticated, and without
mm,
understanding the engineer and some aspects of even modern technologies, modern, I would say, ways of building stuffs, we cannot understand how it's possible that many thousand years ago uh, our ancestors uh, have built such incredible buildings, yeah, like Pyramid, like others, like other stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, so in 2011, as I know, you
Mm.
started to you started to discovering the Gunung Padang. Could you tell me how
Mm.
it all started? Did you know
Yeah,
before about this place?
no, not really. It's in unintentionally. It's in 2011. At that time, I'm I conducted the active fault study. It's for earthquake studies in the area. So I have like the high resolution digital topography data at the area, and then I just stumbled into this hill, which looks like odd, comparing to the other hills surrounding it. It's like an ancient hills that the ancient volcanics that millions of years ago that has been eroded very intensive. But this Gunung Padang Hill, it looks like young, it looks like uneroded, and it has a peculiar symmetry in it. So I kind of, it's what kind of hill is it? It looks different. So I searched the internet and I found out that on top of the hill there is a megalithic sites on top of it. That's the first time why I interested in this hill. So I came to the Gunung Padang, which is not easy at that time because the road is so like very rough. It's like in the middle of the nowhere. So we have to drive like hours to get into it. But I'm so interested to find what kind of hill is that. So on the side, it's like I become like much more interested because the rocks also is very exotic. It's a columnar drain rocks and like I'm geologist, so I know what I see when I see the exposed rock. It's not natural geological formation. It has been well, the rock itself is natural, but it has been arranged by not by nature. It's by human. It's obvious. It's a construction. Uh, and at that time, I also have like a new equipment for our research, like GPR, ground penetration radar, and the electric resistivity tomography,
Mhm.
the standard equipment for geophysics to scan the underground. So at that time, I just applied that to see what's in it, and the result is looks like uh, like amaze me because I'm not expecting the structures. It looks like what kind it is. Not it doesn't looks like well natural. Like all of those, some structures that cannot be explained by geology. So that's how it starts. So I continue to study it, and at that time also I have supported by my friend who is like close to the president. He is the special staff assistant to the president at the time, uh, Bambang Yudhoyono. So he's the one like who's supporting our team to communicate with the institution that's related to the archaeological sites and also facilitating our study in Gunung Padang.
Mhm.
Mm.
And what have you found on the place? Because when you look at the Gunung Padang, you see many so-called columns,
Mm.
volcanic columns. As I know, this is andesite. The rock is kind of andesite. It is a
Yeah, it's a columnar drain rocks. It's called the columnar drain rocks. It's andesite basaltic. It's like well in UK it's like a giant causeway, columnar drain rocks. So I can show the pictures if you like, but in the
yeah.
nature, like in a giant rock causeway, if the layers is like that and the columnar rock is like perpendicular to the layers, something like that, But in Gunung Padang, that columnar rocks, it
Parallel.
arranged parallel to the layers. So and there are other things that are natural to it. Uh, yeah, the I think the other side that using the columnar rock is the Nanmadol in Polynesian.
Yeah.
Very similar rock. It's a similar rocks, and also the arrangement in Nanmadol, the rock arrangement also, well, some kind of similar to Gunung Padang, uh, especially to the well, I call it the first layer, the unit one, where Gunung Padang is not just like one construction, it's a multi-layer construction.
Mhm. And do you
Mm,
believe that on the surface it could be
mm.
some kind of pyramid or some kind of building, artificial structure?
Yeah, so if I could picturize Gunung Padang geologically is the natural uh, rock intrusion or like a volcanics hills. But the upper part of that volcanic hill has been modified by human construction, and then it's like covered by artificial layers, like 20 to 30 meters thick. There are three layers, so it's multi-construction. First layer, second layer, third layer, at the youngest. And if we look into from the face of the hills, and north to south, it looks like a pyramid shape. You know, the dip is like 30-degree, and both side, east and west slope, is 30-degree. So it's very symmetric,
Mhm.
and the top is like flat, and it has the rock terraces, like five rock terraces, like that. So the one side is symmetric like pyramid, but it's elongated. It has a longer axis from north south. So if you look Gunung Padang from the side, so it's like elongated like that. So it's not the same shape as like the pyramid in Egypt or in South America. So it's different shape of uh, structures, pyramid. Yeah. Uh, you can call it pyramid or you can call it megalithic structures because some of people doesn't like. I call it pyramid, but it looks like pyramid structures.
So the thing is that the peak of the mountain was
Mm.
artificially modified by,
Modified, yeah.
yeah, and
Human, I think. Mm.
yeah, very ancient civilization. And
Mm.
what's the most important thing is the on the Gunung Padang we have also um, inner structures, yes, inner tunnels that are also artificial. And
Mm.
uh, do you believe that such civilization that created this monument, as I would
Mm.
say, uh, can we speak of civilization or just a culture, technical culture in human history?
Yeah, so I think that's why the Gunung Padang is very interesting, very important, because I said that it's not just one layer. There are three construction, and the first construction is constructed due to our dating is on the Ice Age. You know, it's more than 15,000, it's even 20,000 years old. But the second layer is like 10,000 to 8,000 years old. The third layer is like 3 to 4,000 years old. So there are three phases of construction. If we are talking about the second layers, that the 10 to 8,000, and the third layer, like 3 to 4,000, it's not that, well, I would say it's not that controversy because we also have a similar megalithic, like in Göbekli Tepe, for example, is 11,600. So I think it's apparent that there are we could have a civilization or culture that can create such construction from rocks. They're able to move big rocks and shape rocks, so they have tools to develop it. And at the Gunung Padang, the first construction, the Unit 3, it looks like its construction. It's constructed by the columnar rocks, and it's thick. Is could be more than 10 meters thick, and it's constructed like we construct the building now, but using that columnar drain rocks. The second layer is also is it's sophisticated construction. It has also a mortars between the columnar rocks, so it's clear that they have that technology that to build that big structure. So I don't think it's a primitive tools that develop that building.
Mhm.
Similar to Göbekli Tepe, I would say it's not primitive tools.
So, well, we have a situation where,
Mm,
uh, because as you know, the official history is like the
mm,
most sophisticated civilizations uh, mm, developed about 6,000 years ago. I mean, Sumerian
yeah,
civilization.
right. Yeah.
But when we have found out that there is something more, it started with Göbekli,
Mm,
and now
yeah.
you speak of Gunung Padang in Indonesia.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there are there are more sophisticated structures or cultures in our history. For example, in Çatalhöyük, in Syria, in the
Yeah.
region of today Syria,
Yeah.
where we have cities or
Yeah.
knowledge that
Yeah.
should not exist, in period of, for example, 10,000 years ago. It's really
Yeah.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
do you believe, what do you think? Is official history a matter of claims that have never been proved? I mean, the development of civilization. Because of course I believe that this historic civilization like Sumerians, Egyptians or
Mm,
etc. etc. Uh, they are known more or less, but when we go um, to much older period
mm,
of time, you have, as I said, cultures from today's Turkey or Indonesia, where we have
yeah.
cultures that are accepted by mainstream science, by mainstream archaeology history.
Mm,
But if we ask an archaeologist, does he believe that advanced civilization or civilizations
mm,
existed in
mm.
this that period of time?
Yeah.
He would be confused, right?
Yeah, I think that's why I interested in this archaeology because in the previous time, these studies is like predominated by the conventional archaeologies
Yeah.
using their technology, their concept, their very rigid chronological time, as you said, that the civilization began at 6,000 years ago with Sumerian and the agriculture revolution like 11,000 years ago that's starting our civilization, but before that there is nothing. But I think we need multidisciplinary studies, so we need the other views from other disciplines like geology, geophysics, or maybe engineering also, because like you said, there are lots of things that we cannot explain, like Göbekli Tepe. Also, we cannot explain how they made it. The Giza pyramid. Do we understand how they made the Giza pyramids? No. I myself has go to Giza pyramid and as visit the quarries of that granite, and I saw the marked toes of the granite is not primitive at all. It is very sophisticated, very precise, something like that. So the bottom line that there's things that cannot explain by um, traditional archaeology, I would say. So I think we should be open mind for other science to explore it. And as you know, also there are many big archaeological site that has not been explored. The underground structures of the Giza or pyramids in South America. And like, also now the LiDAR technology
Yeah.
could also help expose the jungles that lots of structures on it. So this kind of exploration mapping is more closer to geology rather than archaeology because we use all these kind of tools to map. So we could use that technology and also the dating. The dating also very important. If you ask yourself if you uh, like explore the publication, the scientific publication of all the archaeological sites in the world, the big one, the pyramid in South America, the Baalbek stones, the Giza pyramid. I couldn't, uh, it's very rare. I would say it's very minimum the dating data, the laboratory dating of all that kind of the archaeological sites. So we are still right now we are still depending on the like very conventional method uh, from the eyes of the archaeology based on the artifacts they found, like in the Giza pyramid, because they found the artifacts, lots of artifacts from the what you got the Egyptian kingdom like 2,500 years ago. Maybe it's right, but it doesn't mean that also the age of the pyramid itself.
Yeah.
They could just inherit the structures. So what I mean is there are lots of things to explore. So I would say that we have to be open. We have to, uh, but I think we see that the old paradigm is it's I would say that in a few years it could be no longer fit with the data. I think the new paradigm is now emerging.
Mhm.
So
Uh,
I think it's now it's very difficult for people to deny that there was no lost civilization before us. And also, that one thing that uh, lots of people not realizing is that the Homo sapiens, us, the modern human, has been existed in the earth like at least 300,000 years ago now, according to data. So on that uh, data alone, it's not really like uh, logical if we think that the cultures, the high cultures, only developed like 11,000 years ago. So we can ask from 300,000 to 11,000 years ago, what happened? And also, as geologists, we know that the nature has uh, a process, like a global extinction because of the global catastrophe. Uh, I think the one that we discuss a lot is the global catastrophe. Well, is suspected to be global catastrophe at the end of the ice age, which we call the Younger Dryas, the extreme change in the global climate, and also some people suspected it's also related to other catastrophic events like meteorite impact or whatever. But it's suspected to be global catastrophic events. But before that, there are also the Toba supervolcano eruption, which is in Indonesia, in Sumatra, that occurred 74,000 years ago. It's really like a giant volcanic eruption. If you have heard about the Krakatoa
yeah.
eruption in Indonesia, that's a big one. I think it's a magnitude like 4 class in the volcanic index. But that Toba volcanic eruption is like 1,000 times more than that. So I would, yeah, you could imagine that, like the super volcanic eruption events and the Toba super volcanic eruption 74,000 years ago, it could also destroy, like almost destroy the human life. So, so I would say that a human being, the human life on Earth has been go through this global catastrophic events throughout the history maybe more than two, maybe three, maybe four more. So it's uh, I think we have to be open for the possibilities that the cultures, the population of human is not just linear development, but it could be a cycles that develop and then
Peaks and
reset
down.
by the global catastrophe and starting again. It could be like that.
And have you ever found any evidences or evidence on Gunung
Mm.
Padang? I mean, evidences of some catastrophe.
Uh, no, not in Gunung Padang. Gunung Padang also is still not. We still really have to have a photo study, photo excavation deep into the hill. But I think the direct evidence, no, but the indirect evidence, maybe yes, because we see in Gunung Padang there are three time of construction. That's the first one from the Ice Age, and then I see on the stratigraphy that there's what was it it's, the structures. The first structures has been abandoned for years, for thousands of years, from perhaps from 15,000 years ago. It's abandoned, but then it's reconstructed again after the Ice Age end on the warm period, 10,000. So that means it could have the global catastrophic event uh, between the first construction and the second construction. So it's not a direct evidence, but it might be related to global catastrophic events that occurred between the first construction and the second construction. But then also from the second construction, which ended like 8,000 years ago, and nothing happened after until some people arrived in like 4,000 years ago and construct the youngest layer. So between that construction also, which is more than 4,000 years ago, 4,000 years, a few thousand years, I would say. So on that period also, that might also like events that destroy life. So yeah.
Would you like to share some photos or pictures that you have?
Yeah, hang on. Okay, let me see. I would share.
On the bottom is share.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe this one.
Yeah,
Is it?
I don't see any photo. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, this is. And now we are looking at the Gunung Padang. Yes.
Yeah. This is a general picture of Gunung Padang. So this is on top of the hill. So if you we park on the bottom of it, like 100 meters down. So when we go up, what we see is this a green wall. That is the youngest construction. The yellow one, that is uh, the second construction, which built like 8,000 years ago. But the green one is 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. So it's just modifying the yellow construction. So the youngest construction, which I call it the unit one, is the most simple construction here. But the yellow one is kind of advanced construction because the thickness of this yellow one is like 5 meters thick. And on the bottom of this yellow one is the unit three. Okay, I will show you. Well, this is kind of columnar drain rock is the natural, right? Like in a
Yeah.
giant causeway. Uh, and Gunung Padang looks like this. So it's the similar rocks, but it has been arranged like this. Yeah. Okay, let me see. I will show you the our excavation last year. This is Gunung Padang. So if you come to the Gunung Padang, because the Teras one is like this. So it's a mixed construction, the unit one and unit two. So like this man here, that is unit one. That is modifying the beneath this rock. There's a unit two, which is this walls, yeah, over there. That's a unit two. So this is the old one, the young one. So if people careful, they can see this different in construction. So on the surface, we can see right away that it's not one construction, but two construction, the old and the youngest. And also, if you look closer to one of these spot over here, so it's also very clear that it's not a natural rock formation. This columnar joint rock has been arranged by human. In between these blocks is the mortars. It's not the weathering product, but it's a mortar. We also have tested in the lab. It's not the product of the weathering, but it's a mortar. It's meant to bring that.
And have you dated?
We have accepted. What's that?
Have you dated this mortar?
The mortar is stated that that's the age of the unit two. It's about 7 to 8,000 years old. That's the date of the mortar. So the date is the carbon materials on these mortars, not the stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is unit one wall, yeah, that covered the unit two. So you can see that the construction unit two and unit one is very different. The unit one is more simple than the old one, which is also odd. I mean, we expect that the older construction to be more simple than the younger one, but in Gunung Padang is otherwise. The younger construction simpler than the older one. That means the older one is more sophisticated than the younger one here. This is our recent excavation, like last year. So the geologists and archaeologists work together here, just to see by ourselves the rocks beneath the soils. This is one of them. It's showing this unit two. There's the 7,000 to 8,000 rocks, and to me it's very clear that it's not. This is an man-made structures. It's not the geological rock construction. So I think this is the biggest understanding the biggest misunderstanding of the previous studies because the previous archaeological study defined this rock beneath this thin soil as the geological rock formation, but it's not. It's the other units like that. I will see the cross section of this to make the structures clear. So we have lots of excavation here. So this is if we like slice the Gunung Padang, this is the surface and this is like underneath. So what we see on the surface is the unit one, which is like like a little modification actually from the other units. So it's a more simple construction, and you will find that a thin soil, which is not the natural uh, soils like what was it, the weathering soils, but it's a field soil. So it's just done field soil before they construct this construction. But beneath that, the unit two is a thick layers of construction, like more than 5 meters. So it's a big construction. It's covered the hill, the upper part of the hill. So we have lots of digging here. This is in Teras 2. We also have a excavation here last year. And you can also see that the rocks beneath the soil is here. And we all see all of these very interesting structures inside that. And I think the geologists and the archaeology team, we all have agreed that this is man-made construction. It's not geological formation. Like you see here, and the beneath the soil, there is predominantly by this matrix, which is mortar uh, rocks. So okay.
It's fantastic for me because
Mm,
um, the Gunung Padang is a proof. For me, it's a proof
yeah,
in 100% that um, people in very distant past had technology and capabilities to move um, very heavy stones, put
yeah,
them in the right direction, in the right place, in the right places, and they could do it in a very sophisticated way. Um,
right.
uh, have you ever found on the Gunung Padang some evidences of advanced stone machining or something like this?
I couldn't hear you. Uh,
Now, do you hear me
uh,
now?
Now I hear you now. Internet unstable for few seconds.
Is it okay now? Now it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So my question was, have you ever found a um, proof, evidence on the Gunung Padang of highly sophisticated machining of the stone?
Highly sophisticated. Not really sure what you mean, but the construction itself is not primitive. Like you see here, this is a cross section of Gunung Padang from west to east. This red one is the well, it's not all of it, but part of this red one is the natural rocks, but it seems to be have been carved, and it's covered by this stick of rock. That is the artificial construction. So you have the meters here, and this is very thick. It's up to like more than 15 meters rocks. So this is like the construction, the in Gunung Padang. As you see here, to me, this is an advanced construction, the Gunung Padang. So if you are asking whether we found the tools to build it, no, we didn't find the tool yet. Uh, Here also, this is the representation of the resistivity tomography showing this green one is the chamber, is the void beneath the Gunung Padang, and it's big. It's like 5 to 10 meters. So this is not a simple construction. This is an advanced construction. Yeah. Here also, to me, this is one of the amazing pictures of the image. As you see here, there's the artificial layer construction. Beneath it is the natural hills. But here there's something very interesting beneath it. So if we change the resistivity here, what we see here, this is the very, very high resistivity, which indicating the large chamber. And you see the size here, the width of the size is like 40 meter. The height is like 10 meter. So it's a large chamber beneath Gunung Padang. It's like 30-meter deep. So this is one of the targets. I would like to drill to this chamber and to see what's it, what is it, what's in it. So that's one of the goals.
Do you have any idea why people created some inner chambers beneath
Hmm.
the surface?
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is very interesting question. I don't have an answer, of course, but I have a hypothesis. There's something very valuable inside this chamber, especially the deeper chamber. So it's a two layer of chambers. The first one is smaller, like for 20 to 30 meters. That's the one that I show you previously on that 3D seismic tomography. That's actually smaller, like 5 to 10 to 10, but deeper. This is the chamber, like 40 meters, 10 meters. So I would say that just looking into the structures, uh, the most precious one, something inside it, in this large chamber, I think there's something inside it that that's very valuable to them. So I think that's one of the reasons why Gunung Padang has been like constructed like three times, you know.
Yeah.
The first construction and then the second human population come, second ancestors come, and they decided to build the second layers, the unit two. That means they think this Gunung Padang is very valuable to them. I think it's inherited from the ancestors of the ancestors. So uh, it's a mystery. Yeah, I think, of course, it's a big mystery. What's in it? Uh, so right now we don't know, but I'm sure it seems to me there's something very valuable inside it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's really interesting what you're
yeah,
telling us. And now some quotation, because I found your quotation
mm,
in some source. You have said, "It's not about fame; it's about truth. If we ignore this, we're ignoring our ancestors. We're letting their story die, buried under dirt." And another quotation, "What surprised me was how emotional it got. You would think we were debating religion." You said uh, it about in terms of other scientists, because as I know, in 2023, you published a scientific article about Gunung Padang in archaeological prospection, but
yeah.
the article was rejected. Yes,
It's not rejected. It's called retracted.
retracted. Yeah, and
Retracted. It's not rejected. Our people has been accepted, has been reviewed for like 1 year, and then has been accepted and then published for like 1 month before they retracted it. They said retracted because there's some major error, but still our paper can be downloaded and can be read by people. So people still can read it, but it's just labeled retracted.
and why is it retracted? Do they need more data or something like this?
The retraction usually happen if there is like some data manipulation, there's some like major error, like wrong formula. So it has to be like something manipulation or wrong data or like clear error in like data analysis and stuff. But in our paper, the retraction is based on a group of people that, well, it's according to the editors, like a group of people that is not, it has a different opinion than us. So they just have a different opinion and they don't agree of our conclusion, and they like push the editors to retract our paper. And I'm asking the editors also, but still they have to explain what is wrong, what is the major error. But until now, there is no explanation what's wrong, and we are very sure that there's nothing wrong with our paper. People can have different opinion, but it should not end it with the retraction. Usually in science, if there are other people that has different interpretation, different opinion, it's not retraction, but they should posted the different opinion and then we could answer like publicly. It's called the post-publication critics, but somehow they don't do it. They just retracted our paper, period.
Mhm. Yeah, and as you said, and
Mm.
as I quoted your words, that the science in somehow is kind of religion, is a
Mm,
kind of dogma, because
yeah,
I have
sure.
noticed it not once, because if in for instance in archaeology, yes, in history, if you have a different opinion, but
Mm,
uh, based on even based on certain data, certain discoveries, certain
yeah,
research, but if your research uh, does not,
doesn't fit with the
yeah,
uh, current paradigm, something like that,
yeah,
like current
you have
historical
problem,
paradigm.
yeah.
Mm, yeah,
And do you believe it can change in the future?
absolutely. It happened in science, but it will not be easy. I
Mhm.
mean, it's also happened in geology. For example, the plate tectonic theory. That is like our major concept in studying the earthquake, the plate tectonics.
Yeah.
The plate tectonics say that the plate Earth is moving. In the old time, the African continent and the American continent is the same one continent, and then it's separated through that plate tectonic movement. And when people said in 1908, it is Alfred Wegener, is a German scientist, and he said that he's uh, telling people about this theory about continent can break up and separate because it's moved. Um, People call it crazy. And his theory has not been accepted for like 50 years until like
Mhm.
1960 when we earth science can scan the bottom of the sea and
Yeah.
founding that the mountains, the mid-range continent in the bottom of the the seafloor in the
Mhm.
mid-oceanic range. Well, basically, we understand that the Earth crust is born on that volcanic ridge and move aside. So it's called the plate tectonic theory. So after we have this technology to scan the Earth, then we know now that Alfred Wegener, who said it like 1908, it's right. He's right. It's not crazy. So as this is also it's the learning process that the paradigm change is not easy like the plate tectonic theory. It can be changed in 60 years. So it's never easy. Also, the first discovery of the cave painting in, I think it's in Italy, right? What is it called? The first discovery of the cave painting, the old cave painting by the archaeology, Altamira cave
Altamira.
painting. That's
Mhm.
the first cave painting, the old one. And the one who found it, the archaeology said, the Altamira is like 10,000 years old, and uh, people like push him, call him crazy because it's impossible. Even the church called him like a crazy man, a liar that defies God because in the
Mm.
10,000 years old there's no causes, not even the human being.
Yeah.
So it's always in the beginning is if it doesn't fit the current paradigm, so it's always a debate like that. But now we know that the cave painting, the oldest cave painting now we know is in Indonesia. And the age is 67,000 years old. So so that's
Very.
how we learn. That the science always develop like that. And the change in scientific paradigm is not easy. It's always there's some hot debate, some controversial.
And what about the dating, the Gunung Padang? What kind of methodology you used?
We use the carbon dating method, the radiocarbon EMS. We send a sample to uh, a good lab in US and a beta lab analytic. So the principle is we date the remain of the carbons in that layers, in that three layers, the layer 1, the unit 3, unit 2, and unit 1. So on that layers, there are remnant of that carbons materials. That's what we did. So basically, that the age of that carbon represent the age of the construction. The carbon remains is come from the organisms. So if the bioorganism dead, they left that remains of the carbons dating. So the date of the carbons like pointing the dead the time of when the bioorganism dead. Well, I mean, the simple things that the carbon materials assumed to be related to the layers of the construction. Yeah, but of course, there's some always there's some uncertainties. There's some complication like impurities of the samples and stuff. We can all debating of that, but I would say that our result is not that bad, but it's not the best analysis. I would say that if I have fun to do that, I will do like much more comprehensive dating. So like right now, we have 15 samples that been dated. Uh, but I think for this kind of very important, we have to date like 100 samples, for examples. And I think we also have to use other methods, not just carbon dating, but other methods to confirm the dating. So I would say that that's what the best, what we have been conducted. That's the best thing that we can do in the past, and we are very open, for other people to also test it.
Yeah, because some scientists said that the probes you dated were not related to the place, yes, to the structures.
Yeah, but they don't say why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's very. Uh, we, we are very sure because that samples is taken from that three
Layer.
layers.
Mhm.
Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. Some of the samples is come from the soils that buried the Unit 2 or Unit 3. So we know where the samples taken, and we know that it's related uh, to the uh, to the man-made structures, not the natures. Yeah. The other people said that it's not connected to human activities because they don't think that Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3 are not natural.
Mhm.
But we are very sure it's not natural. It's a man-made structures. If they interpret the Unit 2 and Unit 3 as a natural geological rock formation, if that's the case, then they are right. We are wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the case is that is depends on that the interpretation of Unit 2 and Unit 3. Yeah. If we are all agreed that Unit 2 and Unit 3 are man-made structures, then there is no controversy of the dating.
Mm.
It's about that how good or how bad is our dating. It's not wrong or right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what about the
Yeah.
credibility of radiocarbon dating?
Well, radical dating is not easy. We are dealing with the content of the carbon. Some of the samples has a very low content carbon, which is not that good. Some of the samples could be very good, like pure carbons and has enough volume. But in the field, it's not easy to get the best samples. And also, we are dealing with the contamination. So the carbon can be contaminated by the older or the younger. So there are always uncertainties in carbon dating, and also their position. We have to be sure what the carbon dates refer to. The dates refer to the structures. Yeah. So
So it's not easy. It's I would say it's difficult to conduct such studies. Yeah. Um, It's
Yeah, the principle is simple, but yeah, that's what I'm saying that there's nothing wrong with our method. There's no major error. Of course, there's some weakness, yeah, but we also uh, we give a very strong suggestion that the more comprehensive dating analysis should be conducted in Gunung Padang, and not just by carbon dating, but also by other methods. That's how the science works.
and what are the other methods? For instance, could it be archaeological
Mm.
outline or something like this?
The other method, like thermoillumination method, cosmogenic dating method, also there are other things that can be applied to uh, archaeological sites. So like if the material is granites, that will be much easier. Like in Egypt, for example, the granite materials, we can do the cosmogenic dating. We can date where that granite has been cut by the from the nature. So when the granite rocks cut from the source rock from the what was that from the nature, then when they cut, they will expose to the solar to the sun.
Yeah,
So when that happen, then the clocks will running.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So mm,
And what
so
about the
yeah.
archaeological outline? Because you said that
What,
um,
mm,
some inner structures you dated on different times, about 8,000 years, to 27 years even, yes?
yeah,
27,000 years.
yeah.
So mm,
Mm.
you could you use, as I understand, you used some archaeological outline, yes?
Archaeological outlet, you mean stratigraphy?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
So it is also
Yes, of course.
a method, yes?
Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
It's a stratigraphy, archaeological outlines. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Uh, so that also we have to be careful. So when we find the construction uh, wherever, like even in the pyramids, and we see the artifacts, yeah. So it's not always uh, the case that the age of the artifact is similar to the age of the construction. So it's all we always have to deal with the kind of the uncertainties in everywhere. So we have to see the contact. Uh,
Yeah, and another
yeah,
topic, very interesting, because when we look at Indonesia, uh, we have more than 100 islands, yes? But in a very distant
yeah,
past, it was a one solid land, as I understand, that is called Sunda.
yes,
And
Sundaland. Yeah,
yeah, and in human history, we have tales of, for instance, Atlantis, about Mu,
mm,
about Lemuria. Do you believe
yeah,
that in a very distant past, uh, on the sunken lands, which are now sunken, uh, there were some building structures, some civilization, and the Gunung Padang is part of this civilization.
yeah. That is very complicated question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will answer that like step by step. So now about the first is about the Sundaland, which is that is the fact, the geological facts that in the ice age, the sea level is like 130 meter below now. So that's what that means that on the ice age, the big island in Indonesia, we call it the Sumatra, Java, and Borneo, Kalimantan, is not separated. It's the one land because at that time, the Java Sea and the Karimata Strait dry. It's a dry land. So that's what you call the Sunda land. And on the ice age, that Java, Sumatra, Kalimantan, the Sunda land is connected to the Southeast Asia, to the Asia. So it's just one land. So you could imagine at that time between Indonesia and the Asia is one land. So people, human, animals can moving in between. And also you can imagine at the ice age, the temperature here in Indonesia is, I would say it's nicer. Maybe it's much nicer than now.
Mhm.
Like my hometown Bandung is now temperature is like 25 degree, but during the ice age it could be like 20, even like 18, maybe 15. I mean it's between 5 to 10 degrees lower than now. And like Jakarta now it's like 35 degree, which is very hot, but in the ice age it's like 25, which is temperate. So the temperature in Sundaland in ice age is very nice. And you can also imagine the Java Sea between Java and Borneo. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful valley. It has a big river. We still can reconstruct that big river in the Java Sea and also Kalimantan Sea, big river like Niles. And you can imagine that it's surrounded by mountains,
Mhm.
mountains in Java and Sumatra. So you can imagine that the Java Sea and the Karimata Sea in the ice age is very fertile and very beautiful valley. I would say it's like the heavens, maybe. I think I would say that one of the best place, the best land on Earth on the Ice Age. So if you believe there are like sophisticated, advanced civilization at that time, I would not surprise that they will choose this land to develop their culture. So, from the geographical point of view, Sunda land is the best or one of the best land in the world on the on the ice age. So now the question is there a high civilization that occupy that area? So my first hypothesis, if there was a high civilization on Earth on the Ice Age, the Sundaland will be like the one of the best choice
Good.
uh, to develop the civilization at that time.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So, but the thing is, we have to find the hard evidence of that civilization. I think Gunung Padang is part of it, and I also have other like magnificent evidence underwater that still we are still exploring it. I hope this year I could explore that underwater structures, which is huge, large, will be the the a great evidence of that civilization on the ice age, I would believe. So, so that's we are seeking. We have to see the evidence of the civilization at that time. Uh, so right now, I will call that civilization is a Sundalandia. It's the
Mhm.
Sundaland civilization. Yeah, but I would not relate the Sundalandia with the other civilization like Atlantis or Lemurian yet, because we don't know.
Yeah.
And Lemurian, well, I don't see a solid like reference to that, but Atlantis is we know that the Atlantis is referred to narrative, the Timaeus and Critias. So it has the
Yeah.
source of it. But the problem is like right now, some people think it's a real story, but other scientists think it's a fiction.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's why I don't want to describe the suspected, well, the supposedly civilization on the Sundaland as the Atlantis yet. Uh, but just just uh, to be well, uh, to be very interesting fact, if you read the description of the Atlantean land, the Atlantis land, the geography description on the Timaeus Critias, because the description is very detailed about the geography, about the shape of the land, the flora and fauna on the land, the climate and stuff, and you compare it to the Sunda land on that time, you will see that there are lots of similarities of the description. But you can
But you know,
you can read it
Plato,
yourself.
Plato
Mm,
described that the
mm,
Atlantis went down
yeah,
in the Ice Age, yes, about 9,000.
11,600 years ago.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really, you know,
end of the ice age. Yes, it's very coincident, I would
yeah.
say.
And I
Mm,
know scientists, I know geologists from Poland
mm,
who studied some samples, some mm, I would say soil probes from Egypt, in which he found um, meteorites or nanodiamonds, and
mm,
it is the same as scientists did in North America. So
mm,
there is we have many evidences now that our
yeah,
planet in a distant past, in the young Dryas, was hit by some rain of meteorites or some kind of planetoid, you know. So
yeah,
it's really amazing that Plato really wrote this. Then I
yeah,
really appreciate that you took part in my audition. It was really fantastic to you know to talk to you, and I
mm.
hope we will record another audition about some topic, mm,
Sure, Lucas.
which which is related. I don't know, which is related to Gunung Padang, to
Yeah,
the story of you know human occupation of the region of mm, Indonesia. You know, it's really fascinating. So thank you
thank you.
for this
Thank
audition.
you, Lucas, for inviting me. It's
Yeah,
a very interesting discussion.
yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah.
yeah.
And so it's all for now. Thank you for watching this audition, Unknown History of the World. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.